Senior Counselor to the Treasury, Joe LaVorgna, joins me now. Joe, are you happy with that jobs report?
Good morning.
I'm sure you are.
There are a lot of, Stu, a couple interesting things. The unemployment rate certainly moving back down from 4.6 to 4.4 is important, but the way it moved lower is really key. So you had about a 230,000 increase in household employment. Unemployment fell. But if you look at the private wage and salary number within the household survey, you're up actually over 600,000. So like the details that underlie that drop in the unemployment rate are pretty positive. And we know from the spectacular GDP estimates right now for the fourth quarter from the widely followed Atlanta Fed survey, that if growth is up near 5%, you're going to have another massive gain in productivity growth. And that always is a great leading indicator for underlying wage and income trends.
As I understand it, somewhere near 3 million illegals have either self-deported or they've been deported. That's 3 million out of the workforce. How does that show up in today's jobs report?
The statistic that was shown on the screen of roughly the 300-something thousand increase in native-born employment, it actually gets down about 600,000 because you have to look at the data intra-year because of different population samples as you go from one year to the next. So in other words, the relative improvement in native-born employment is even better than that graphic that you had shown.
Okay. Joe, the Supreme Court could release, it is expected to, and it might, release its decision on Trump's tariffs coming up at the top of the hour. Now, if they strike down the tariffs, you must, at the Treasury, you've got to have a plan B. What is it?
I'm going to refer people to comments the Treasury Secretary recently made. The key point is that the Secretary's highlighted we have the fiscal capacity to make sure we've got the continued level of revenue collection.
Okay. Treasury Secretary Bessent says the U.S. loses a lot of money. I mean, a real lot of money due to fraud. Watch this.
The General Accounting Office believes that there is somewhere between 300 and 600 billion of annual fraud, roughly 10% of government spending that disappears due to fraud. If we can recapture that, that is 1 to 2% of GDP. Yesterday, President Trump announced that he is thinking about a 500 billion, half a trillion increase in defense spending.
Is that what you're thinking of? Transfer that money saved from fraud and use it to boost the military? Straightforward transfer?
That is ultimately the Congress working with the president makes those decisions too. But on the point that the secretary made on fraud, that's very important. The GAO, the General Accounting Office, they've been around for a very, very long time, and they have done very excellent bipartisan, nonpartisan, I should say, work. And therefore, the secretary is clearly onto something very important in making sure American taxpayers get the best bang for their buck without the fraud and abuse that clearly appears to be in the system.
So it is possible to claw back the fraud money and use it for better purposes
I don't
elsewhere.
know. Well, I mean, look, if there's fraud, I mean, clearly there's legal issues there, Stu. So, I mean, the various authorities, whether it's working Treasury with DOJ, the respective agencies that will handle that will certainly do their due diligence and make sure that if there's crimes committed, they'll be prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
Okay. Last one. President Trump is going to talk Venezuela with oil executives. They're meeting at the White House today. The oil guys want security and money. They seem to be their key demands. Are they going to get that? Are they going to get security? Are they going to get a ton of money?
The president, clearly the operation was very successful, Stu, and these are discussions that the president's going to have with senior staff and senior executives, and we'll see what the president says, but I've got tremendous confidence that he's going to do what's ever right and it will work out in a very satisfactory way. I can't comment beyond that.
I understand. Joe LaVorgna, thanks for joining us this morning.